In a noisy office filled with the sounds of ringing phones and conversations, I, John, was busily working as usual. Shoot, the time for the business meeting is getting close. I need to leave as soon as I finish this quote. Yes, don't. I hurriedly clicked the print button on my computer screen and went to collect the printed document from the printer. Then, I quickly took it to my boss, Michelle. Michelle, could you sign the estimate on the quote, please? My female boss, seated at her desk, is named Michelle. She's top in sales performance in the company and was promoted to manager at the young age of 32. Michelle, a graduate from an elite university, is competent and expected to be a candidate for the board of directors. Not only is she intelligent, but she's also beautiful with good looks and has a great figure, though she rarely smiles and is very strict with her subordinates. Especially with me, I feel the cold shoulder more than with other colleagues. Michelle silently took the quote from me, glanced at it, and frowned. The next moment, she yelled loud enough to echo across the floor. Come on, there's an extra zero, redo it. Oh, you're right, sorry. Really, at your age, making such a simple mistake, you're hopeless. That's why you're still a contract worker in your 40s. She said that with a look of disbelief and sighed. As a contract worker, you don't get bonuses, right? At this rate, you might never get married. I was even criticized about things unrelated to work. She's always like this. Ever since she found out I'm a middle school graduate, she's been looking down on me. I hated it, but I couldn't talk back to my boss, even though she's younger. So, I had no choice but to listen silently. The fact that I seem unlikely to get married is true. At 45, I've never had a girlfriend. With neither good looks nor money, I've led a life that's far from being popular. Michelle, beautiful and elite, could never understand this indescribable loneliness. While thinking about this, I bitterly corrected the quote and finally got Michelle to sign it, then headed to the client. The result of the business meeting I went to with such enthusiasm was not good. Sigh, what's wrong with me? I'm always like this. My sales performance is the lowest in the company, and it's a wonder I haven't been fired. As a contract worker, I'm always nervous about losing my job. Not being a permanent employee at this age is probably due to my educational background. Maybe I should have pursued a career as a craftsman. I reflect on my life with regret. I could perhaps become a permanent employee at a small business, but working for a small, unstable company seems riskier than being a contract worker at a large corporation. In this world, I'm grateful just to have a job. When I returned to the office from the business meeting, it was already past regular working hours, and most of the employees had left. I went back to my desk and started working on the report for the day. After that, I prepared the quote and materials for tomorrow's meeting and shut down my computer. It was already past 10 p.m. Here I am, late again. As I gathered my things and left the office, the stars were shining in the sky. Today is Friday, the eve of the weekend. I thought about going somewhere to eat and drink alone, as it would just be lonely going home, so I headed to the downtown area. Walking down the street lined with bars and pubs, I passed groups of college students, groups of office workers, and many couples. I'm so envious. I wish I had a partner too. Even with a small salary and being belittled by my boss, just being with a partner would surely be healing. But unfortunately, I don't have such a person in my life. Not even friends to go out drinking with. Sigh. With a heavy sigh, I entered a nearby pub alone. Welcome, are you dining alone? Yes, alone. Please take a seat at the counter. I was led to the counter and ordered a small drink set for one, a draft beer and a few other snacks. Perhaps because it's Friday night, the pub was full of groups of office workers, all chatting and complaining about work. I drank my beer while watching them from the corner of my eye. Drinking alone, with no one to complain about work to, is just boring. After drinking for about an hour, I left the place. Across the street, pink neon lights were shining. I saw a couple walking arm in arm. Feeling envious, I glanced at them and recognized the woman. Isn't that? It was my boss, Michelle. The man with her was probably in his 60s, with gray hair. Could he be Michelle's partner? Such an age difference, I wondered. That's when it happened. Let go of me. Michelle's voice sounded distressed. What's the harm? You're not some young girl. No need to play hard to get. The man was forcibly holding her shoulder, trying to pull her into a nearby store. Stop it, please. She was struggling to shake off his grip. I instinctively approached them and grabbed the man's arm. Stop it. Can't you see she's uncomfortable? Who are you? Mind your own business. The man glared at me. His face was red and he smelled like alcohol. It's my business. I'm her subordinate. A subordinate, a guy your age working under a woman like her, How does it feel being bossed around by a younger woman? The man leaned close to my face, smirking. We're not talking about that right now. Let her go or I'll call the cops. I raised my voice, and people passing by started to gather around, watching from a distance. Noticing them, the man clicked his tongue. Humph. Just kidding. Who'd take an older woman like you seriously? The man, grumbling in defeat and ignoring his own age, left the scene. Michelle, are you okay? When I asked, Michelle came staggering over, her hand trembling as she tightly grasped the sleeve of my suit. John, thank you, she said in a faint voice. I'm really grateful for your help. I was just coming back from a reunion when this stranger suddenly started bothering me. It was scary. The usual strict and assertive Michelle seemed so fragile today. Then she said, if it's all right with you, can I buy you a drink as a thank you? Her offer surprised me. Why would she, who usually finds something to criticize about me, invite me out for drinks? What's gotten into her? I really don't need a thank you, but she insisted. I won't feel right if I don't. Don't be shy, let's go, and grabbed my arm with both hands, pulling me along. Despite her usual forceful manner, I couldn't help feeling a rush from the sudden closeness. Surely, I couldn't be attracted to such a difficult boss, no matter how beautiful she is. I chided myself inwardly and chuckled at my own thoughts. Then, led by her, I found myself in a small bar. Order whatever you like, she said, and I ordered a bourbon on the rocks. She chose a cocktail. I was just in the mood for more drinks. I feel like I need more alcohol tonight. She smiled slightly, and I asked her, did something happen at the reunion? Nothing major, really. She showed a faintly pained expression, her eyes looking off into the distance. I stayed silent, and she continued. The guy I dated in high school, I found out he's married now. She said this almost like a whisper, then sighed deeply. Do you still have feelings for him, Michelle? I guess. I've always loved him, even after we broke up. You know how it is, right? Your first great love always stays with you somewhere in your heart. She took her cocktail glass and gulped it down. But Michelle, you seem like you'd be popular. Aren't there plenty of good men around? When I asked, she gave a bitter smile. Please, it's not like that. There's no way. I don't meet anyone, and even when I do, they all leave soon. Why's that? I wondered internally if maybe the men realize her difficult personality and leave because of it. But it turned out to be something else. Actually, I'm taking care of my mother at home. I put her in daycare while I'm at work, and I take care of her all night, so I can't go out. I don't have time for dates. She continued. Her mother was diagnosed with early-onset Alzheimer's the year she got my job. Her father and grandparents had already passed away when she was young, so she's been working and caring for her alone. Any romantic prospects end quickly because she can go on dates to caregiving. I might never get married. It's so frustrating and lonely to see many married people at the reunion, but I want to take care of my mother myself, and my emotions are all mixed up. She stared at her glass as she spoke. I understood her feelings all too well. I get it, Michelle. My dad had an accident when I was in middle school and became partially paralyzed. I've been his caregiver ever since. As I said this, Michelle looked up at me, surprised. My mom wasn't around, so after my dad needed care, I had to start working right after middle school. My grandma would take care of him during the day, but I took over on weekends and at night. I couldn't go out, just worked and cared for him for decades, and by the time he passed, I was already over 40, so I never really experienced youth or love. After I finished, Michelle suddenly started crying. What's wrong, Michelle? John, I'm sorry for being so harsh on you until now. Michelle apologized, wiping her eyes with her palm. I've been irritable because of the caregiving stress, and I took it out on you. I hated myself for it but couldn't stop. But hearing your story, I realize I was really wrong. Seeing her tearful, somehow she seemed adorable, and all the resentment I had built up against her disappeared. I understood the strain of caregiving all too well and could empathize with her lack of mental peace. And I had to admit, I am a bit clueless and prone to annoying mistakes. It's okay, Michelle. I gently patted her back. You know, we're kind of in similar situations. If it's okay with you, would you like to drink together again? If you're worried about your mom, I can come to your place. Let's have a drink at home. When I smiled, she looked surprised and then smiled happily. I'd appreciate that. She firmly grasped my extended hand. Michelle, has your mom gone to bed already? Yes, we had dinner together earlier, and she's probably asleep now. Oh, I got some snacks today. Your favorite cheese and crackers. Saying this, Michelle brought out a dish of cheese and crackers. It looks delicious. I found a rare drink at the liquor store today, so I bought it. Oh, that drink. I just saw a feature about it on TV and was thinking about trying it. Ever since the night I helped my manager, I've been occasionally visiting her place with a bottle of alcohol. We've been enjoying drinks together, with me bringing wine or sake, and pairing them with snacks prepared by Michelle. We've become good drinking buddies. Since we started having these home drinking sessions, Michelle has become much more relaxed at work. Well, my mistakes are still the same. Watching her enjoy her drink at the living room table, I thought she looked really cute. Thinking about what drink to bring next, I felt happy spending enjoyable moments with Michelle.